Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, U of A falls to the Washington Huskies Friday night at the stadium 21-16, the 19th straight consecutive loss for the Wildcats on the football field. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985. And Glenn, Saturday night I gave my first top takeaway from this game, and that's just that in each of the three starts at home by Will Plummer, he has made a back-breaking interception. Go back to the Colorado game last year. He threw that red zone interception when the Wildcats were driving to tie the game. NAU this year, he throws a pick six. Friday night, it was a screen pass interception when the Wildcats were driving to potentially go up 3 possessions in the ball game. He's not going to be successful playing quarterback here if he continues to break this offensive backs with those types of mistakes.
Yeah, and, the thing about it is just got to be smart and understand taking care of the ball. And that play, all you had to do is throw it in the ground. You got to look, evaluate. It's got to go fast. It's got to go real fast. I mean, extremely fast. Throw it to the ground. There's too many guys over there. That play wasn't going to work. Live another down. That's what we have to be able to do. Live another down. If you can do that, we can be more consistent on offense.
Well, and it's interesting, Glenn, because, the opening series of the game, you get that blocked punt. You're set up at the Washington 23-yard line. And I thought the Wildcats were really conservative on that first series. They ran Jalen John twice into the middle. Then they brought the first Wildcat play with Joyner, and then they were 3 plays and out, kicked the field goal. I just thought there was an opportunity there to really make a strike early. But there's so much inconsistency with this offense that now I kind of maybe understand why Jedd Fisch really doesn't take a lot of chances with this offense, because you just never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, the inconsistency of this offense is really disturbing, because sometimes you think about it's the play calling. And then I was looking over at the film again. It's just the execution of the play. It's one small block and the guy's broken free. And one guy that just doesn't make his assignment, does his assignment. And they have a good play set up, but it's just not execution. We have to get better with execution. I think that gets better as we go along here. We got to practice that more in practice. And we can't make mistakes. The MAs, missed assignments, are just killing us.
Well, let me break this down even further, Glenn. We'll start with the second possession of this offensive ball game for Arizona, which might have been the worst series of plays by an offensive lineman that I think I've seen in a long time. Right tackle Peyton Fears, and we'll show these plays right here. First play, first down. He's beat on the inside for a no gain. All right, second down is a false start by Peyton Fears, and then third down comes back and he gets beat for a sack. So gets beat twice at a false start on 3 plays, and you have to give the ball away. Now, to his credit, Glenn, he came back later on the first touchdown drive and made some key blocks in the red zone, in that series in the red zone, on some of the Jalen John runs there. So, and that's what we're talking about here. The inconsistency. I mean, one bad series of downs by Peyton Fears, but then comes back on the touchdown drive and is playing more consistent from that respect. And you can look at Bryce Walma on this 52-yard play here by Stevie Rocker. It was Walma and Jordan Morgan who set the blocks on the edge that got this play going, and then Jamari did his thing downfield and clearing the way. But then on the very next play, on this screen pass here to the side, Bryce Walma can't even get out on the defensive back to make that block. And this is what we're talking. From one play to the next play is dramatic inconsistent.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I've been there, done that. Okay, I've had a bad series at offense when I was playing offensive guard, and then also I've had a bad series playing at tight end where I missed a couple whip blocks. But it's just the mindset of getting back into it. How are you going to recover? How are you going to get back into that mindset of you're going to be able to be successful on your blocks? It's about a mindset, and these guys they're going to have to do that and get more consistent with it.
And what are you seeing in terms of Peyton Fears? We'll go back to him, Glenn. What are you seeing with his leverage and the way his hips are?
Well, he kind of just opened up the gate for him on that rush. He's got to be able to ride him out. He just opened it up, and then he just went right by him. And then the one on the inside, I thought that maybe he should have been taking a step inside to cover his inside, because I don't think there was nobody outside. I wasn't sure on that one, but he got beat totally because the linebacker just stunted totally inside. And you got to never get beat on your inside. That's one thing you never do.
All right, let's talk about the two Tucson kids on the offensive side of the ball. We'll start with Jamari Joyner. And obviously, this is going to be something that's going to continue to go on. He's going to continue to get more of an offensive role from that quarterback position. And I think the one thing that's interesting, and I think Jed talked about this early in the fall when I asked him once about how many touches he wanted for Stanley Berryhill in every game. And he talked about, you want to get your best players the ball, but you also don't want them to ask them to do too much. And so, when we talk about the evolution of Jamari Joyner playing quarterback, are we going to see Jamari Joyner dropping back and throwing passes? I don't know that that's what this is ever going to be. It wasn't what I thought he was best at coming out of high school in terms of throwing the football. I think Jed has the smart mindset that, look, we know what he's capable of doing. We're going to give him a more expanded role in that respect, and that'll be Wildcat, running the ball, handing it off, trying to draw coverage. I liked when they threw all the wide receivers out. They had 3 wide right and 2 wide left and had 4 linemen and opened up the inside for him to run for 7 yards. I think that's what we're talking about when we're talking about an expanded role from Jamari. I don't think he did throw that pass that got batted down, but I don't think it's going to be a situation where we see Jamari Joyner back there throwing the ball 15 to 20 times in a game.
No, I don't see that either. And what I think about getting Stanley the ball more is to get the ball to the other guys. Get it to the other guys. Make them take a little bit of pressure off of Stanley, because they're doubling him up. They're trying to double him up. They're putting somebody on top of him, and then there's having somebody inside, and then you got to be able to get it to the other guys. If they're playing a lot of that coverage on Stan, there's got to be somebody else open. Get it to the tight end. Get it to Castile. Get it to Joyner. Some other guys, and then that will you just make it. I think it'll open up for Stanley Berryhill.
And a pleasant surprise, Glenn and Stevie Rocker. I wasn't sure what type of impact Stevie was going to be able to have in his first season. I wasn't honestly sure if he was going to play at all, but he was able, because this was a kid who hadn't been healthy. The last 2 high school seasons had battled a ton of injuries, so you really weren't sure what his durability was going to be coming into college. He made it through spring. One of the things they talked about was he did not miss a single practice, did not miss a single workout. And now he's got a clear defined role. I don't anticipate, and I don't know that he, when you talk about the great backs that have come out of Tucson, I wouldn't put him in Bijan's category. I wouldn't put him in Kadim's category. I don't think he's going to be a guy that you're going to hand the ball to 30 times a game, even if when in his junior or senior year. But again, here's Jed, I think, finding a role for this kid, utilizing what he does best. Get him some carries on the edge. Let him catch the ball out of the backfield, and really finding a place for him in this offense.
Yeah, kudos to Stevie, man. Stevie has gone beyond my expectations of what he was going to do for this team this year. He's working hard. He's not making mistakes. He's taking advantage of every opportunity he has. And that's what a player does at this level. When you have an opportunity to play, you got to take advantage of it. And I don't see a lot of guys doing it, especially at the quarterback position. The quarterback position, you have the main position. You got to be able to be prepared for that and take that bull by the horns and say, I'm going to take this team and we're going to ride. Let's go and ride. And Stevie, every time he's had the opportunity, he has taken the bull by the horns and he is riding.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about that 52-yard play with him and Jamari Joyner. That was probably the highlight of that game, to see those two Tucson kids out there working, and Jamari really getting out there out front and clearing that path with some great wide receiver blocking as well on that play. All right, Glenn, let's talk about some decisions in this game. 4th down and 1 with 10 minutes to go. Jedd Fisch decided to punt the ball away. I personally did not have a problem with that. I think you got to play with your best unit. And in that ball game and all season long, your best unit has been your defense. They're not going to win all the battles, but to that point in the game, your best unit is your defense. I think you play with your best unit. I know that was a big debate after the ball game, whether they should have gone for it there on the minus 34 or punted the ball away. I didn't have a problem with Jedd punting in that situation.
Now, if we were on the 40, 45, yeah, I would have went for it. But I agree with what Jedd did there. That was a good decision. Kick it away. We did, our special teams has been doing great. I think I could even say that. Great on this game. We've been doing a good job of making some field position. We did great on the field position situation in this game. We put them in the back and inside our 10. We've done that. And Orsendorf is just kicking the heck out of the ball.
Well, he had a 68-yard punt. That's pretty good.
52. So that's pretty good. Okay, so that's the kid is doing a great job, and let's let him do that and be our weapon. And I think that was a good decision of what he did on punting on 4th and 1 there.
Well, Glenn, since you jumped to the special teams, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Isaiah Taylor had the big punt block early in the ball game, the son of Jason Taylor, who we really hadn't seen too much this season. So it was good to see him get on the field and be able to make a play in that ball game. You mentioned the Ostendorp punting. He had the 68-yarder, and then Luke Haversack just absolutely drilled a 50-yard field goal. And Glenn, quietly, we talked about if he could get into that 70% range, and he's right there through 7 games.
He's got a strong leg. We should be able to rely on him now. We understand that he can kick in this situation. And you know what? We have not done special teams, offense and defense, for one whole game. We just got to put it all together. I don't know when it's going to be. And we play your Trojans next week, and boy, are they in disarray. So we don't know what's going to happen, the next couple of games. And, the next couple of games that I see us, if we can put everything together and not making those mental mistakes, we could come out with a win this year. We could come out with a win with one of these games, the remaining games.
Well, let's and when you talk about the defense, Glenn, and we'll touch on that before we get out of here. Obviously, the one thing I like, and we can talk about, Dr. Blitz all you want, but to be quite honest with you, they've been getting it done without doing a lot of blitzing. Yeah, they've done some blitzing, and there were some big sacks that came out. They had 9 tackles for losses in this game. I just like a lot more me, I'm more of a stunt kind of guy. I like to see defenses that stunt and beat the down front and play good coverage, and I think really that's what they've been doing the last couple of ball games.
Kudos to my teammate Ricky Hunley. That D-line is playing a lot better. They're making their twists, they're doing stunts, and they're staying in their lane. They're not getting out of their lane where they're creating big gaps for the quarterback to run. So if you always see those stunts and those sacks, they're collapse sacks. They're coming in and they're just collapsing them because there's no place for them to run. And that's disciplined rush, and that's what they're doing.
Well, they just need to get the communication together, Glenn, because twice they made horrendous errors in communicating personnel on the field. Third quarter, they had to take a timeout because they only had 10 men on the field, and then the fourth quarter, obviously, that last possession where they had 12 men on the field, and I'm going to be interested to find out, later on this afternoon in Jedd Fisch's press conference what was going on with the communication. But again, you cannot. I mean, when you're a developing program, I'll go back to what I said week 1 with the issues that they had with the fans getting them in the stadium in week 1. When you're a developing product on the field, the coaching staff has to have their A game together. And that was an instance where defensively they did not have their A game together. And I know injuries played a part in that. Gunnar Maldonado was out, so you had Jaden Young playing, and then you had some different personnel groups than you had consistently through the first 5 weeks of the season. Keon Barrs was out, and so you had a lot of guys like Levi Tatum, and so there was a lot of mixing and matching and changing, but that is on the coaches to make sure that the personnel groups are set. Guys know when they need to be on and off the field.
Yeah, Dave, there's usually a personnel guy. When they call the play, they get the personnel in there. So when they hear the play being called, what defense they're in, personnel's got to be ready. If they're talking, they're actually usually talking before the next down, what kind of personnel to get them ready. So that's just a mistake by the coaches.
Yeah. Two other notes I had. One offensive note. Can we please stop running routes in front of the first down marker? I mean, once again, we had that. If there's one thing I'm going to nail Stanley Berryhill is he ran a route in front of the first down marker. And then later in the game, again, and he points to inconsistency. 1 third down, he runs the route in front of the first down marker. The next third down, he runs the mark past the third down marker and gets the first down. I mean, again, when we talk about the inconsistencies of this offense, that's what we're talking about. Why are we even running routes in front of the first down marker?
That is a mental mistake. That's the thing that you have to do. You got to know assignment and alignment. What is your assignment? Your alignment, you get in your slot position, whatever you are, and your assignment. Know where the sticks are. That's what I said in the pregame for our radio, is that we need to know where the sticks are. We need to know where the first down is on crucial downs, on second and third down. We got to know where it's at so we can make that move the sticks. We move the sticks, we do a better job for our defense. We play better as a defense when we are on the field as an offense, moving the ball down the road here.
And defensively, we talked a little bit about Jalen Harris earlier, and Glenn, that one run stop that he had on the edge, that was an NFL style play right there.
Yeah, Jalen is playing much better. He is getting more physical. He's getting off of blocks better than I've ever seen him do. He is jamming, extending, and then also getting off the block and making the tackles. I think he's turning it around, and he's got to be consistent for the next 5 games. He's got to be able to do that.
All right, it is USC next at the Coliseum on Saturday. I think I'm about 8 steak dinners ahead on that rivalry.
Dude, you got a steak house. I thought you were going to open up David Kelly's Steakhouse.
I'm still waiting for my invitation to Fleming's to get at least one of those steak dinners. So we will be back to preview the Trojans and the Wildcats for you on Saturday morning.